My unit, Smackdown 5/30/25, your amplified review is about to begin. Two big stories before we get to this week's Smackdown. Headlined by the return of John Cena face-to-face with Cody Rhodes, each with their own surprise. I'll spoil it in this cold open teaser. Cody's big surprise, the Yeet Master Jey Uso. Yay, more yeeting on Friday nights, not just Monday. That's all we need. 20 more minutes of yeeting. And John Cena surprised Logan Paul, because that's what we need more of too. 1 second, this is a beautiful sound here. Oh, that coffee is ready to be topped off. We'll do such in just a minute. So that was the headline of this. Naomi and Bianca Belair with a pretty good face-to-face that just led into a triple threat Money in the Bank qualifier. There was a couple of those last night. So we'll go over all of this. We have an official word on a huge NXT call-up to Monday Night Raw. On one hand, okay, yeah, that's pretty obvious. She could have debuted there, not even gone to NXT, and it would have been acceptable. But now the question is, what do you do with her? We'll talk about that in a minute as well. That's all coming up. First and foremost, the Vincent Kennedy McMahon news. A lot of you guys are probably hearing bits and pieces of what's going on with Vincent McMahon. Kennedy McMahon has indeed filed for his new LLCs, his new businesses. And the trademarks and the copyrights, all of that has been linked to the address of Stamford, Connecticut's WWE headquarters. So that has a lot of people going, wait a second, why would all of these LLCs and these copyrights and these trademarks, why would it all be going to WWE headquarters? He still owns a small fraction of an amount of shares in WWE, but not enough that WWE would be your place for your own businesses. That's wild. But a lot of people are thinking, wait a second, is what we heard this past week, is Vince coming back to buy WWE? Not so fast, but that's not inaccurate. I see this going two separate ways. And if you're wondering, these new LLCs, this new company that Vince is starting up, it's revolving around the sporting world. That's all we know so far. So I do see this going one of two ways. Vince McMahon will be behind buying TNA somehow, whether by himself, with investors, with a Dwayne The Rock Johnson, something. But Vince McMahon will be involved with the TNA buyout because I absolutely believe WWE is positioning themselves to purchase TNA at the snap of a finger. Could Vince have been behind this the whole time? And that's why we saw this relationship begin over a year ago. Possibly. The only other way I see this going is Vince McMahon is involved with the Saudi Arabia purchase of WWE. I always believe that within 2 years, Saudi will own WWE. TKO as a whole or whatever juncture they choose. But I always believe that Saudi will buy them out in 2 years. Hunter Helmsley will not be in this position in 2 years, period. Not even sure he's going to want it. He's already burnt out. Hunter Helmsley will not be doing this in 2 years. But WWE as a whole, most likely going to Saudi. Vincent Kennedy McMahon has a really good relationship with their prince and so many others over there. Really good relationship. Saudi doesn't need Vince in this deal. But could this be in the works where Vince is able to work with them and purchase together? Saudi would probably love that. Vince can handle all the business over in the U.S. portion. But there's no question Vince will be back in the wrestling game. It's just about how big of a scale. Something like TNA, which you got to believe he will work with the WWE, not against, and they can continue to do what they're doing, which is try to snuff out and flood out all elite wrestling. Or he just purchases WWE in totality once again. They have an obscene valuation right now of $25 billion. Vince sold it for what, 9 point some odd. I don't believe that evaluation at all. but it just seems counterproductive. But if Vince only has to put up a couple of those billion up with Saudi, then Vince would have made out like a bandit, and he regains ownership because he's working with Saudi. TNA is a much lower price tag, obviously, so Vince still made out like a bandit with the selling of WWE to Endeavor, and then he gets to purchase TNA for him would be pennies on the dollar. I hope this makes sense. The bottom line is, guys, these filings have already been filed. The address is to WWE Stamford, Connecticut headquarters. Do the math. It's a sporting LLC. Big, huge endeavor that Vince is setting upon. And if you think pro wrestling isn't involved in that, man, I don't know what to tell you. Even if he has something else that he wants to set his eyes on, first and foremost, pro wrestling would be secondary. Whenever Vince fails at anything, he goes right back to a hardcore into the pro wrestling game. We saw it with the XFL a couple of times. So that's a huge story, something to look out for. If you thought Vince was out of the wrestling game and has nothing to do with the WWE, think again. A lot's going on, man. Vince is making his moves, and he's doing it now. And as I said before I get to the SmackDown review, a huge call-up from NXT. This was Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie is a part of the Raw roster now. That is official. There is no more there's no more NXT for Stephanie. That was a call-up out of the blue. Just like Julia, man. Julia gets called over to SmackDown. And we were like, whoa, so no more, that's it? Like, she drops her title over to Steph, goes away for a few weeks, comes back to NXT, does some weird tag teams with Roxy, and then she's just called up to SmackDown. She feels like she's just another spoke on the wheel. Julia doesn't feel as special as we thought she would with that call-up. So now they're just calling up Stephanie. Snap of a finger, blink of an eye, drop of a hat. I hope this works out. You could have easily said Stephanie could have bypassed NXT and went right to the main roster, and I wouldn't have batted an eyelash. I get it. But she did go to NXT, and she did become double champ, and she was just your champion this past week. I just found out, I'm not even joking, I just found out within the last several hours that she dropped the title to Jacy Jayne, I guess. I think that's what the headline said. Jacy Jayne. Jacy Jayne, the last I checked, was on a losing streak for the ages. But because they wanted to catapult Stephanie quickly to the main roster, they just had Jacy, I guess, on Tuesday night, take the title from Steph. Now, Jacy will obviously just be a stepping stone champion to whoever's next, right? She's just transition. That's what we call that. Transition champ. Take the title so you can get it to the next person. Probably a Jordan Grace or something like that. But still, very odd that Jacy would just take it after Stephanie has already taken it from Julia. Stephanie had already just beaten Jordan Grace. And all because they wanted to catapult Stephanie. Now, if you're wondering what's the rush, well, it's because Evolution is in a little over a month. July 13th is coming up quick. Tomorrow's already June. So less than a month and a half, you got Evolution. So yeah, they want the Julias. Yeah, they're going to bring up Stephanie. They got Roxy ready to rock. No pun intended. My question is, what do you do with them all? You're not even booking the ladies you have right now correctly. In fact, the report we got over a month ago, the women are actually pissed off because they don't know what they are. Helmsley is booking them as faces and heels. He's doing that for the dudes, too. The women just spoke out about it, and I'm glad they did. They're not happy. They don't know what they are, and because of that, it's a detriment to their own character and what they're supposed to be portraying because they don't even know, because Hunter doesn't know or care. So now your answer is to bring in more ladies. Bring up Roxy. I don't know. Okay, Roxy's there. She should have been. But instead of sitting on that and giving Roxy something special, you're just redoing the whole Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan storyline, but with Raquel, Liv, and Roxy. But you don't even sit and let that breathe. You're bringing in Julia. You're bringing in Stephanie Vakir. You're bringing in Mariah May, possibly. Mariah May is done with AEW, we're hearing, right? Her placement in WWE is imminent, is what we're hearing. Well, if that is true and Mariah May's showing up, where are you putting her? Okay, Evolution, you need to fill that with some tops. Okay, but at what point, man? Evolution's going to come and go. And then you have to book Raws and Smackdowns again. And you have so many women talent that can't even get TV time. You got so many women talent that are not happy. So many women talent that should be getting really good booking right now, and they're not. You have somebody like Alexa Bliss. You hear the pop she got that was last night on SmackDown? That was just in a quick backstage segment with Tiffany Stratton. It was one of the loudest pops of the night, and it was just showing up on the Tron backstage. That was it. That's how they used Alexa Bliss on a 3-hour show. She can't even come through the curtain. Don't even ask me where Bayley is. I couldn't tell you. Rhea Ripley hasn't seemed relevant to BC in ages. She'll probably get a championship, but what's that doing? The IC championship couldn't even be defended for the ladies at WrestleMania. That's too much to ask. You could go on and on and on. More. What's Julia going to do? How are you going to make Julia feel more special or different than Io or Kari? And when Asuka comes back, you already have that English barrier. So good luck making everybody feel different, or you're all just going to lump them up in a group like Hunter always does. And Stephanie, her biggest obstacle has always been her English barrier. So you have to book her correctly, play to the strengths, and somehow hide those weaknesses. But if you're not booking anybody else correctly right now, what gives anybody the hope or the faith that this company is going to do these ladies justice? So we can throw a parade. Stephanie's on the main roster. Mariah May's coming. And then what? What happens when they arrive? We keep talking about how the booking sucks. The company doesn't care to give them anything good or relevant or prestigious that would get them to the next level. And then they're just tossed to the wayside or thrown into catering until we have something for you in the future. That's what's going to happen. Good for Steph. Good for Julia. Good for Roxy. Good for Mariah May if she's already signed or is going to. Where are you all going? What are they going to have you all doing? And what about all the ladies right now that you have? That's 4 names I just said. You're going to have to give solid booking to going forward. Good luck. But that is a real thing. Stephanie is now officially a part of the Raw roster. Main roster. Monday Night Raw. I'm going to top this fresh brewed Folgers coffee off, if you don't mind. And then we're going to get right into the SmackDown review, 5/30/25. The Yeet match. What do I... Before I actually get into the review, I gotta be as honest as possible with you guys, as I always am, but we're gonna turn the amplification up a little bit, because with this whole yeeting shit, I can't. And now Friday nights and all the planting of the kids, right? They really want to make him like a Hulk Hogan. Soon they'll literally be talking about taking your vitamins and saying the prayers and drinking milk. Going to bed early. Let me get this coffee ready to rock, and then we'll get into it. SmackDown 5/30/25. No opening signature. Just give me a minute. Unit, salute. So, Jason Uso is a big surprise last night in the final segment. We'll go over it, but real quick, I just want to just kind of get this off now. Because Monday nights, that's one thing, man. 15, 20 minutes of yeeting. It's so ridiculous. It's gotten so corny. It's gotten so bad. Pat McAfee asking Michael Cole if he's got his yeet suit on. Michael Cole's like, I got my yeet suit on. I mean, it's gotten that bad. They're planting kids so he can dap them and dance with them and pick them up. And it's getting so childish, man. It's bad. If you're an adult, if you're over the age of 12, and you're at home, like, you're not just dancing in the crowd, which is bad enough. But hey, you paid a lot of money, do your thing. But if you're at home and you're just digging this, I don't understand how you could be shocked that there are adults that are just over this, man, and this is not doing it. This is not working. This is brutally cringe. And then they parade him out there last night on SmackDown, and he is... Well, we're going to throw this to the wayside. This wants to come out. Go Knicks. I forgot it was back there. Knicks, big game 6 tonight against the Pacers. We have to win. It's in Indiana. But if we want to stay alive in this whole series and get to the finals, we have to win tonight to force a game 7 into Madison Square Garden. So go Knicks, go, if anybody cares about the NBA. Big game tonight. Big game. But Jason Uso arrives on SmackDown last night, and he's going through Section 305, and he's going down the crowd, through the crowd, and he's got they planted the kid in front of him, right? That's a cue. The kid leads him out. And then he passes another kid that gets a dap, and then he stops at another kid because they're supposed to yeet, and you see them like, ready? Yeah, ready. Okay, let's go. Right? They get queued up. I mean, these are plants. They're planting kids because they really want to show you that all the kids love Jey Uso. That's what Helmsley wants you to see. So that the wrestling world... Anybody over the age of 12, easily, the wrestling world is done with Jey Uso as a world champion. That's not even laughable. It's just sad at this point. We're going to throw a parade when that title's off of him. You got people like even, we talked about it yesterday, Bubba Dudley, who's even saying the dude doesn't even feel like a world champion. And this was a dude that was okay with the Rumble victory and okay with him winning that title. And now he's finally seen the light. A moment of realization. Oh yeah, Jey Uso isn't cutting it. You think? But Helmsley wants you to see like why he made the decision. Because the kids, man, they love him and they're yeeting and it's loud and we're selling 6% more t-shirts, yeet shirts. Nowhere near LA Knight still to this day, by the way. Nowhere near Cody Rhodes and nowhere near John Cena. John Cena, your heel, had more t-shirt purchases last night than anybody. Look in that crowd. You look at the orange John Cena. It was wild. But... there he is on Friday. You got all the kids planted so he can yeet with them, and he even picks one up, right? But he's been doing that. He picks up a kid, and they start yeeting. Yeah, look at that, man. Look at that, right? Like, how do you... You're shocked that grown-ups, grown adults aren't on board with this childish Sesame Street bullshit? The kids are having fun. That's awesome. Okay. How many times you want me to... I mean, we're reviewing the shows. You're spending all this time on this Sesame Street garbage. They're clearly focused on just aiming toward the kids. What does that do for the rest of us? Over 70% of your wrestling audience is 18 to 49. Do the math. What the fuck are we supposed to do? Okay, the first 10 times, first 20 times, first 30 times, we go, oh, that's so cool, man. Look at the kid. The kids are having fun. Oh, he's picking a kid up. Somebody's kid just got picked up. How cool is that? At what point is it, okay, enough. You wouldn't watch any movie or show if you saw the same scenes nonstop, right? You would ask for a new episode. A sequel should be a whole new movie that has to do with those characters and concepts. We're seeing the same thing over and over, man. If your lady walks in and you're watching this and she looks at the TV and all these kids are yeeting around with Jey Uso, what do you say? Yeah, I'm just watching it. It's funny. They yeet and all the kids love it. They gather around and he picks a few up. Your girl's going to be like, okay, that's glad you and the kids love to yeet. I'm going to head back out. You're shocked that adults who are watching this garbage have had enough. You want to market to kids, that's one thing, man. You want to put Jason Uso in the mid-card, you want to do this trash with the IC title, that's bad enough. This is a world championship on the line. Did you see John Cena cutting his promo last night? He had several lines. Logan Paul had several lines, a whole monologue. Cody Rhodes had a whole monologue. He was out there by himself for a good 5 minutes. You know who they gave one line to? One line. They gave this dude one sentence, Jason Uso. Because they know that's all he could do. All he said was, we don't have to wait till Saturday night's main event. Or, I'm sorry, yeah, is that what he said? Money in the Bank? Maybe the Money in the Bank. I don't know. BC flubbed. Maybe he flubbed it. We don't have to wait till Money in the Bank 4 letters, 1 word, That's all he said. They gave him 1 line. This is coming off the backlash this week of Monday Night Raw, right? Everybody was talking about it. This is what made Bubba even go, oh, I don't know, man. This dude, I don't know if he's got it. Monday night, he was forgetting his lines, and Gunther had to kind of get him back on track. This isn't the first or 10th time that has happened. His wrestling skills have greatly diminished. We know that. Cardio is nullified, irrelevant. He went to jump over the top rope last night to land on Cena. He barely made it. But we're supposed to go, it's okay because he's super over because the live crowds love to yeet and the kids gather around him. He picks him up and he pats him on the head. He's good with the kids, Beasley. That doesn't do anything for the 18 to 49 demo. So I'm not just going to sit here and rave and talk about how awesome this gimmick is and how awesome this all is because the kids are loving it. No, it's not going to happen. And they tout a record crowd in Tennessee, Knoxville, in that arena last night. A record crowd. You know what they didn't say? Sellout. You know why? Because it wasn't. They couldn't say that. So they have reduced from sellouts when they used to tout sellout after sellout. Now they just tout record crowds. We had more than last time. You promoted John Cena. John Cena, you promoted the return of Cody and Rhodes. Everybody knew that Jey Uso was appearing. And you couldn't even sell out. You wonder why the ratings are backwards, going in the opposite direction of where you would like them to be going. You don't have to wonder anymore, bro. Your TV show has been reduced to boring, lazy, repetitive bullshit. Where now we're picking up kids, patting them on the head, and yeeting. It's a kid's show now. This is Sesame Street. We'll go over it. This is SmackDown 5/30/25. That is your cold open teaser. Down a little bit of coffee, we'll get into it. This was Bianca Belair and Naomi kicking us off. Well, not hold up. That's not exactly what started the show. Everybody showing up to work is what started the show. You know that. We got to start with the same old repetitiveness. Can't have a WWE show unless we have everybody showing up to work. One of you guys, something funny in a recent upload that we did. One of you guys were hilarious. You're like, how long before we start ending the show with everybody leaving work? Everybody leaving the arena with their coffees and their luggage. How imminent are we going to start ending the show with Paul Levesque McMahon and Lee Fittings credit as everybody leaves the arena? Oh, that would be funny, man. And I wouldn't even doubt it. Bianca Belair starts the show because it's Tennessee. So they had to bring back Bianca Belair. She's looking fine as always, man. Tremendous assets that were on full display last night. And you want to talk assets? Naomi came out afterwards. Naomi face-to-face with Bianca. And she exchanges some words. Naomi was out there for her triple threat Money in the Bank qualifier, but also to kind of rekindle a friendship with Naomi or Bianca. So Naomi is, Naomi's just trying to rekindle that and tell Naomi like they should, she still thinks about their friendship and how it ended and it doesn't have to be that way. And Bianca Belair is like, I don't think I want nothing to do with you. I don't know any other way to, you know what I mean? Like, this ain't happening. So then Naomi gets a little bit more into that diabolical heel character and she's pissed off. So that that was pretty good between these ladies. As was when they were doing this whole story a couple months ago. And then Jade Cargill comes out because she's involved in this triple threat Money in the Bank qualifier with Nia Jax. So Jade comes out. Naomi and Jade start start rocking out, and that's how we, I believe, went to our first commercial break. So they start brawling. When we come back from break, there's the Money in the Bank qualifier, the aforementioned matchup between Nia Jax, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair. This matchup, there was nothing of substance to really talk about. It was a schmaz match. The crowd didn't really care too much about it, but all that needed to happen happened, and that's all that matters. Naomi pins Nia Jax. Naomi is going to the Money in the Bank ladder match. That's all that needs to happen. Naomi had to be in that match. One of the most, if not the most athletic female on that roster. You're damn right she's got to be in that ladder match because we're going to see awesome shit with Naomi. And if you put the briefcase with Naomi, I am more than fine with that. But first things first step before the second, and you put her in that match. Not a Nia Jax, not a Jadithan Cargill, a Naomi. So yeah, nothing of substance really here. The interaction with Bianca and Naomi was better than the match itself between Jade, Nia, and Naomi, to be honest. But again, all of this, and it ended right at exactly half an hour into the show. All of this for the ladies to set up the Money in the Bank ladder match. So they took the whole first half an hour. That's it. Bianca and Naomi and their interaction is the only thing I'll actually semi-remember. But we got Naomi in that ladder match. That's pretty good. Next up was Jeff Cobb Mateo defeating R-Truth via pinfall. Did you hear what Wade Barrett said at the end of this match? So Jeff Cobb Mateo defeats R-Truth via pinfall, and Wade Barrett says R-Truth couldn't overcome this humongous human being. This humongous human being. He's talking about Mateo, who last I checked was billed at 5'10", $178. If he's 5'10", that's with the 2 inches on the boots. I'll give you 5'8", 5'9", maybe. But all right, we'll bill him at 5'10", which is what it says. $178. Even if I give you $190, $195, $200. Humongous? Humongous. I mean, we're getting carried away with some of the wording, man. Tessa Torre calling the matchup a few weeks ago. Who was it? Tiffany and Nia Jax, I think it was, a classic. Putting that up there with Ricky Steamboat and Savage from WrestleMania 3, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 25. Tiffany, Nia Jax, SmackDown is a classic. Oh, these words, man. Michael Cole and Tessa, all these broadcasters, they're trying to make more than what actually is. And I know that's part of their job, right? Take what is and make it feel special and important. But you have to do it in the realms of reality. A humongous human being. A humongous individual. Most of the roster is bigger than Jeff Cobb Mateo. That was funny. Jimothy Uso hits the ring post-match. I'm still not sure why. He just got beat up. I think because Solo may have gotten in there and they started beating up R-Truth a little bit more. So Jimothy's like, I'm going to get myself some airtime. 10 seconds later, he's looking up at the lights, trying to pick himself up with R-Truth. Like, man, that backfired. The fuck is Jimothy Uso doing? I shouldn't question it, though. He's Big Jim. It's Humongous Mateo and Big Jim. They're mid-size, both of them. Why is he a Big Jim and why is he Humongous Mateo? That's what we do, man. It makes my freaking eye twitch. We're just taking bare minimum. We're taking average. And we're making it sound like the greatest thing since sliced bread. Hour number 2 could not have been any more lazy than what it was. So hour 2, all of the tag teams are in the ring as per always, right? This is what they always do with the tag. They have no tag team division. They have a bunch of tag teams, no division. It was interesting too because DIY came out and I think it was Tommaso. And Tommaso was just like, let's just have a moment of silence for the tag team division because it's done. And I was like, wow, that's the first like real thing that we heard all night so far. Because it is. Got some really good tag teams. You just got no division because Hunter Hearst Helmsley doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know how to book it properly. Or if he does, he's not. Not even close. Every single week, you're just seeing a bunch of tag teams out there. You're either having the same matchups or you're just having all the tag teams in the ring at once. Where's the storytelling? This is just going, hey, all of you guys go out there. You say some words, and then 2 minutes later, we'll have the next tag team out. You say some words. A minute later, we'll have the next tag team. This is all Hunter Helmsley knows how to do. So all of the tag teams were out there for SmackDown last night. And then the lights go out, and the Wyatts clear the ring. 4 dudes took out 8 dudes in like a minute. Now, I want to see the Wyatts be dominant, no question. But at what expense, right? At whose expense? Last week, you had them take out the entire tag division when they came back. Okay, we all let that slide because it was like, hey, pretty badass though, you know? Nobody was expecting that. It's the Wyatts. You want to book them dominantly? Cool. Tag team division's already nullified. It's got no relevancy. So, did they really get harmed? This was more about the positives of the Wyatts coming back and being dominant than the negatives of the tag team division being laid out all at once. But this week, they just did the same thing. They didn't even bother to get just a little bit more creative. Creative at all. They didn't even bother to switch anything up. They're like, hey, the same thing we did last week. Let's do it this week. Let's have all the tag teams in the ring. And then the lights will go on and the Wyatts will just clear the ring. And that's it. And this segment with the Wyatts showing up and beating everybody was maybe 90 seconds. Maybe. How wild is that, man? And then the Wyatts just pose to the hard cam. And then we go to commercial. And then we went to commercial. There was no difference than from last week. Lights go out, lights go on. Tag team division is cleared out by the Wyatts. They pose to the hard cam. Does that honestly make you go, oh man, the Wyatts are amazing? 2 weeks of doing the same thing and annihilating all your tag team division is not going to make the Wyatts special. That doesn't equate to good booking or a story being told. Week 1, okay, last week was good. Now this week you start to implement your story. Implement where we're going with the Wyatts. Now you draw that reason to care from your audience. You just don't do the same thing. It doesn't equate to nothing. You don't need to see nothing next week because there's nothing was established. When you talk about the Wyatts this week, going into next week's Friday Night SmackDown, what are you going to say? Oh man, I wonder if they beat the tag team division up again. Oh boy. This is what we're reviewing, man. This is what I mean. When people say, oh man, BC's channel is where you're going to get the most truth, man. There's no bullshit on BC's channel. There's no sugarcoating. Because how can you? I don't see how people can sugarcoat this with a straight face or manufacture excitement, act like they're actually loving what they're seeing or even liking it. It's just trash, man. If I at least saw that the company gives a shit and it's just bad, okay, I can do that. That's a starting point. We can work with that. But when you see the company doesn't even care, they don't even care. They just recycle the same boring laziness just to get the show done with so they can move on, fulfill their commitments to USA or Netflix, move on to the next show. And then we had a couple of debuts out of nowhere from NXT. I'm not talking Stephanie Vakir. I'm talking Ethan Page and Javon Evans. And you're not going to believe how they debuted on SmackDown. You shouldn't be shocked, but we're still kind of stunned. This is Humberto and Garza defeating Rey Fenix and Javon Evans. Phoenix collects another random tag team loss. This isn't even with his tag partner Penta. This isn't even some Lucha Bro stuff. This is just with like random people that Rey Fenix just loses matches with. This week it's with a debuting Javon Evans. So Forget Rey Fenix taking another L. And does it even matter? They got nothing for Rey Fenix. I've said this a billion times, and it's sad to say, but it's the truth. Because I actually did make this mistake last week, and I didn't even bat an eyelash. I thought it truly was. I got Rey Fenix and Dragon Lee, How to Train Your Dragon Lee mixed up. And still, when I see an image or so, I got to look twice to see who it is. Is it Dragon Lee? Is it Rey Fenix? I don't know. Penta, I can tell. That's totally different. Rey Mysterio, obviously, right? But Rey Fenix and How to Train Your Dragon Lee, man, when I first look, I have to take a double take. And it's going to be that way until they start booking people properly, if they even do. But forget Rey Fenix for a second. What about a debuting Javon Evans just looking up at the lights? Is that the best way to debut somebody? I'm not saying he shows up and he starts whooping all the main roster's ass either. Integrate. A real debut should be having vignettes and such. Build suspense to a debut. Or we could just pop him out of nowhere and have him take a quick L. Okay. Garza pins Evans. Good debut. This is one of those nonsensical matches so everyone can scream, "This is awesome!" and Tessa Torre can have an orgasm on headset. Wait, what a match! It's a classic! Because, they were doing all the flipsies and the divesies and the moonsaults and the dives and, whoa, my goodness, they're ping pong balls. Match makes no sense. Phoenix and Evans from NXT in a tag team match. No sense. This was just to try and get people interested in some odd fatal four-way North American title match at an event called When Worlds Collide that's coming up. And that matchup is Phoenix versus Evans. So they were just in a tag team, but now they're going to can they coexist? Phoenix versus Evans versus Laredo Kid versus Ethan Page. That's like one of those memes, right? One of these don't belong. Laredo Kid, Rey Fenix, Evans, all these high flyers, and they can do crazy acrobatics and gymnastics. And then Ethan Page. The fuck is Ethan? Because he's got the title, he's got to be in this match. Page was on commentary for this matchup. That is how he debuted in WWE's main roster on SmackDown last night. He was just on commentary. Awesome. If the company's not going to make these individuals feel relevant, prestigious, there's reason to care, then we're not going to look at them as such. It's that simple, man. The company has to take that first step. Zelina Vega defeats Alba Fire via Code Red pinfall. Chelsea Green sporting the Trish Stratus broken nose mask. And she inadvertently hits Piper Niven with it. This distraction allowed Vega to collect another W. Chelsea is just a national treasure. I got to give a swig of coffee and a salute to Chelsea Green. I hope she can start rocking out again after this nose being broken, because Chelsea Green is a national treasure. She is so good in that role. She is so needed. She is exactly what you have to tell stories and to be a true superstar. I don't care if she can do all the flips and the dives and make everybody go, "This was awesome," 3 times a match. I want people that aren't going to do all of that, because that's when I know they're legit a star. That's when I know I'm probably going to care about them. When fans are not screaming, "This was awesome." Nobody cared. No, it's not. Shut up. Sit down. I don't care how much you fucking paid. Sit down. Please, stop. 2 minutes into a fucking Tozawa versus Ivar of the Viking Experience. Ivar versus Tozawa is not awesome 2 minutes into the match. Stop. I said this a million times. I almost can't stand when wrestlers actually finally sell in matches, because they never do anymore. It's just one sequence or one setup into another sequence, one setup into another big move, another hot spot, another big spot. And when they finally sell, right, especially when it's like many people in the ring, triple threat, fatal four, tag team match, whatever it is, or just one-on-one, when they finally are both laying down and selling, right, both have been taken to the limit, I cringe, because I know it's coming. You're going to start to hear it slowly but surely, because the crowd, which is just full of just its ADD, and for a moment, the action has stopped, and the crowd doesn't know what to do with itself. So whenever you see the action stop and wrestlers are actually selling simultaneously, listen closely because you're going to start to hear, "This is awesome." They have to start chanting something because they don't know what to do. They can't have a moment where we're just taking it in and letting these individuals sell. It could be 3 minutes into a match. They don't care. If there's a stoppage in action, we're going to start chanting. But Chelsea Green don't need all that. This is a legit superstar, and we don't need fans chanting to tell us that. Damian Priest cuts an in-ring promo, talks leaving McIntyre in the past, and declares that his future is winning the U.S. title from Jacoby Fatu. Thank you. That's all we've ever asked for. I mean, literally, that is what should have been done. Was it a year ago or 2 years? I don't even know, when Damian Priest won the Money in the Bank briefcase. I don't even know if it was last year or 2 years. I don't even care anymore. But remember when Damian won that brief? That should have been LA Knight. We all know that. But because LA Knight is not a Helmsley guy, and Damian is a Helmsley guy, Damian got the briefcase, even though we said, wait, Damian's not ready for that. And sure enough, he wasn't. That was a more than forgettable title reign, unfortunately. There was never that connection like was supposed to be. It was a huge, man, a lot of mistakes made with that title and botches, and it just wasn't time. We all know that. It was the wrong call. LA Knight should have had that. But instead, Helmsley had LA Knight playing around with the U.S. title and trying to get it. And Damian was in the world title scene. Backfired. We all know it didn't work out. So here we are now, at least a year later, and now we're going to try to get it right, maybe? LA Knight's in Money in the Bank. LA Knight should be getting that briefcase, and Damian will be going for a mid-card title. So it was very good to hear that he is focused on the mid-card title. Thank you. At least a year too late, if not two, but at least we can try to get this done. Sometimes it's never too late to correct the wrong. Do the right thing. So we'll see if they actually get that right. But I have no problem with Damian Priest going for mid-card championships. That's what he should be doing. Damian Priest is a mid-carder. Like Sami Zayn should not be going for a world title because he's a mid-carder. Jason Uso should not be holding a world title. He is a mid-carder. John Cena said it best. I'm in the ring with wannabes, he says. Looking at Jey Uso. You want to be a John Cena or a Roman Reigns. You're Jason Uso. Stop. Because you dance around with all the kids and turn this show into Sesame Street. And then we have the men's Money in the Bank qualifying triple threat. This was Andrade defeating Melo and Jacoby Fatu, the aforementioned, in a triple threat Money in the Bank qualifier. Solo and Mateo kind of cost Fatu. Fatu's got, I mean, he wasn't going for a pin at the time, but he had everything under control. And then Solo gets up on the apron. He's like, yeah, do the moonsault, do the moonsault. Jacoby's like, dude, get off the apron. What are you doing? And sure enough, this would lead into Andrade pinning Melo. So Andrade goes to Money in the Bank. This is like a consolation prize to Andrade. I like Andrade. I want to see good for him and good booking, but he's so irrelevant, man. Nothing he does is interesting. You could say that for most of the roster. I know. But does Andrade being in the ladder match, does it really do anything for you? If you're answering honestly, no, it does not. You want to say, well, I like Andrade, though, and I'm happy for him. I know. Those are all the things we want to say, right? Because we want to be positive about it. Oh, I'm glad Andrade gets that opportunity. I get all of that. That's not what I asked. I said, does it really feel special? Does that mean anything? Does it really lead to anything? Does it make you feel any type of an emotion? No, it doesn't. Other than good for him. He's earned it. He deserves it. I'm happy for him. Just like we say for Jey Uso holding a world title. I'm happy for him. He earned it. He deserves it. So Andrade being in Money in the Bank, I'd be bullshitting you, which I'm not going to do. If I was to tell you, oh man, this just made the ladder match so much better, man. Andrade's in it. How exciting. And I wouldn't have said that either with Melo, to be honest with you, or a Jacoby Fatu. And then it was time. I don't. We made it somehow, man. These shows just drag on, these 3-hour SmackDowns. But it was finally time for the main event segment. Cody Rhodes, John Cena, face to face, each with a surprise. Cody Rhodes promo says he questioned if he was a good champion. Says he will never hesitate again with John Cena. And then he says he has a surprise, and here comes 10 minutes of yeeting. Jey Uso comes from the crowd, yeeting with every kid he comes across, even picking up kids and patting them on the head and dancing with them. Thankfully, we went to a commercial break to split it up, but when we came back, they were still yeeting. The music finally stops, and the crowd starts going, one more time, one more time, one more time. And Jey Uso's like, so we have to do the redo, and we do the stupid yeet redo for another 2 minutes. Thankfully, it was only 2 more minutes because John Cena's music played and interrupted. I have never been that happy to see John Cena, man. Never. I was never even a big John Cena fan. And I became one instantly last night. I was like, thank you. Anybody that can interrupt this stupid fucking yeeting. It's bad enough we do 10 minutes, and now we got to do the redo because the crowd can't get enough of dancing because the kids are like, again, Ma, again, Dad. Like, okay, maybe if we ask them politely to do it again, we can dance some more. What is this doing for everybody at home? After months of this, are you still at home going, this is so much fun, man. Let's just watch everyone dance. What a good time. This is good. Charleston, get in here. Look at this, man. Everyone's dancing. Look at all the kids. All the kids are... Oh, my goodness. All the kids are, like, forming a little circle. This is amazing. It's bringing everyone together. This WWE. It's putting smiles on faces. If you're an adult watching this, I feel for you. I hear you. You can't defend this shit. It's cringe. It's corny. If you're under the age of 12, maybe you're having the time of your life. I get it. Once that title gets off of his shoulder, and maybe we can see a little less of this yeeting, or keep it for the house shows, or keep it for the mid-card. I don't know, man. This was rough. Thank you, John Cena. John Cena had enough. Gets in the ring. John Cena's like, I have never... John Cena looks at Cody, and... He looks at Cody and Jey Uso, and he says they are two of professional wrestling's biggest wannabes. That's what he said. I had to think about the exact wording. He said, you are two of professional wrestling's biggest wannabes. You just want to be John Cena to Cody. And he tells Jason Uso that he wants to be John Cena. I thought he was going to say he wants to be like Roman Reigns, stealing his spear and knocking people out with it and becoming Super Uso. And then Logan Paul comes to the ring. That's John Cena's surprise. And Cena says, you're all mad because Logan Paul does WWE better than any professional wrestler. You know what's sad is that, like, Cena is throwing these heel digs, but most of what he is saying is actually accurate. Cody Rhodes himself, much respect to Cody. Cody himself has said many times he's tried to design himself after John Cena. The suits and all that is when he started seeing John Cena wear suits a lot. And he'd be showing up to arenas in suits and leaving in suits and seeing him on the Today Show and all these appearances. So, Cody has said that. He has modeled himself after Jonathan Cena. And then Logan Paul comes in, gets all this heat, and he's actually really good. I mean, it draws an emotion out of a lot of fans. You know what's sad? A lot of these full-time pro wrestlers draw no emotion out of their fans. Out of fans, period. So, you can not like Logan Paul. That's your prerogative. I hear you on a lot of it. But, I mean, he's right. He makes you feel something, man. There's an emotion there. I'm telling you. A lot of wrestlers are just like, oh, man. The fuck do I care about? Andrade versus Melo versus Jacoby Fatu. And then the funniest part of all of this was that they gave Uso one line only. Everyone else had a lot of words to say, little monologues. Jason Uso, they gave one line because that was a big backlash from Monday, right? He forgot his lines yet again, like he always does. Gunther had to put him back on track. So this week they gave him one line. We don't have to wait till Money in the Bank, Us. We can do it now. One word, 4 letters. 4 letters, one word. 4 paraphrases, 1 analogy, whatever he says. And the fans are supposed to go yeet, I guess. They gave him 1 line, and that's for the best. And then they just start brawling. Jey flies over the top, and by flies, I mean like tumbles over the top. He barely cleared the top. He's got to stop doing that. He almost go back and watch. He almost got caught again. You guys remember he didn't make it a month ago? Almost landed on his head. He doesn't have it anymore. It's sad. He's overwhelmed. He's exhausted. His own father has said that. He's forgetting lines. His wrestling has diminished. Stop with the but he dances with the kids. Some people are just not ready or not made for the spot. It's okay if you want to see them in it and you want to be happy for them. I totally get it. Some people, man, it is a hindrance on them. I can't tell you that Jey ever truly wanted that spot because we know in many interviews he never thought about that spot. That was never his dream, man. So he has all these responsibilities and he shows up to dinner and his own father, Rikishi's like, I've never seen him look more exhausted. That was the same week that we saw him almost land on his head, couldn't even get over the top rope. He's forgetting his lines. If you really like Jey Uso, you want to see the best for this dude, then the faster he loses that title and the pressure is off, the better. A lot of backlash from Monday night, and now you saw what happened. They gave him 1 line. They all brawl, disaster kick, I believe, to Jonathan Cena. So Cena talks, and then he gets beat up by the faces, and they hightail it. And the faces are left in the middle of the ring to celebrate. Paul Levesque McMahon and Lee Fittings credits pop up, and that's your Friday night SmackDown. That's 3 hours of SmackDown. And I'm supposed to, like a lot of dingbats in the community, go, oh, this was a good SmackDown. This was a good SmackDown, I feel. I feel this was a good SmackDown. I think BC will be happy with this SmackDown. No way can BC trash this SmackDown. Yeah, what was good about it, huh? Naomi and Bianca had a good little face-to-face. What else? I don't even know what else. Naomi won her match. Match was more than forgettable. The triple threat Money in the Bank qualifier for the men. Melo versus Andrade versus Jacoby Fatu. No, thank you. I wouldn't give you 50 cents to watch that at a house show or WrestleMania. I wouldn't give you 50 cents for that. You would have to pay me to watch this again. Melo, Andrade, Jacoby Fatu. Stop it. Garza and Humberto versus Phoenix and Javon Evans so I can see some gymnastics live. No, thank you. Pay me to watch this again. I love Zelina Vega. I do. Zelina Vega versus Alba Fire for 12 minutes. I don't need to see it again. No, thank you. No, thanks. Love Chelsea Green. What else? I don't know what else you guys could... The main event segment? They just talked a lot, and the faces made the heels run away. Logan Paul and John Cena. That was it? That's enough to make you go, what a good show. It's not for me. Damian Priest. An in-ring promo, just saying he's focusing on the mid-card title now. That's all that happened, guys. I'm not just being overly harsh or negative or critiquing it too harshly. I am going over everything that happened. And people really want these shows to be good, so they're willing to just let bullshit slide. And they're willing to go, oh, that was a good show, I think. I think that was finally a good SmackDown. I just went over it again in 2 minutes. What would make 3 hours of this garbage good? A couple of good moments? Did you get some good wrestling? I don't understand what I would... The Jeff Cobb Mateo versus R-Truth just tickle all your sensations? Man, that R-Truth Mateo match. He's a humongous human being, that Mateo. 5'9.5", $178. Humongous. Did you see all the tag teams in the ring? All of the tag teams were bickering again, and then the lights went out and the Wyatts did what they did last week. They cleared the ring in 90 seconds. Then we went to a commercial break for dude wipes. Yeah, dude wipes. Smackdown 5/30/25. That's the most truthful review you're going to get. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm not going to BS. I'm not going to give you false, positive garbage. I'm not doing it, man. I'm not going to fabricate just because we want it to be better. You're damn right we do. It has to be better than this. And the only way to do that is to be honest, which I will continue to be, which we, the Amplified unit, will continue to be. But until next time, and there will be that next time, 44 Dive, that's a wrap. BC in the unit, we're saying check you. Kick ass on your weekends, guys, as we head into June. We'll do it all again next week. We'll start a whole new month Amplified style. Salud.